Ferris versus Billy Joe Colley. We got Billy Joe Colley and Megan Ferris is up at the top. We got both of you there, it looks like. I think get a chance to review your complaint as well for both of your sakes. Have the two of you talked recently at all?
No.
No?
Yes, she came to my house a few weeks ago, and there was a big confrontation at my home with my children there. So I would say yes, we have talked.
Well, okay,
That
kind
was
yeah.
about a month ago.
Okay. Do you two of you want to work on trying to get something resolved? You want to just have a hearing here? It looks like it's pretty, quite frankly, might be kind of clear cut. No? Why don't both of you raise your right hands then? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Both of you? Okay. Let's see. Megan, let's make sure I got documentation. Somebody sent some text messages back and forth. I got a whole slew of text. Who sent the text messages?
I did.
Oh, okay. All right. As far as this, you're claiming, let's see, defendant owes you for a vacation to Jamaica, and it did have pictures in there. Was there a trip in May of this year for both of you? Both of you go on a trip? Okay, so that part kind of did go on a trip.
Yes.
Was in Ms. Ferris, it looks like you were concerned with, I guess, the money that was going to be paid into the trip. Is that true so far?
Yes.
And it sounds like you asked, I guess the two of you, it looks like, given the totality, it looks like both of you had worked out at paying for the trip. Is that part true?
She told me that she would pay me for it, but I haven't seen a penny for it.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't I tell you that I would pay you as soon as I was done with nursing school and got a job? I did not know when I could pay you. That's exactly
not
what
what
I
you
said.
Okay, so let's just kind of narrow down something, because that's what I kind of thought that's where we're at right now, because there was some
And I'm
statements
missing
made that I'm going to pay you as soon as I.
lecture right now of nursing school for this. So she knew that I had no job, no money, no way to pay her until after I was done with nursing school, and there's no definitive date or when I could pay her back. And I made it clear that I want to pay her back. I wanted to pay her back until she came to my home and got myself and my 11-year-old son kicked out of our home because she brought confrontation to my home and stood in my driveway and watched my son have to be walked out of his home. So at this point, I don't want to give her anything.
Okay, well,
all I did was tell the truth.
I guess, guys, hold on. Let's just tell me, I guess, Miss Ferris, tell me how much the trip, was it just the two of you on a trip, or was it a bunch of people? I guess that's the other part I couldn't tell either.
There was another couple. My friends were the ones who invited me, and I invited her.
Okay, and so I guess the part, Miss Ferris and Miss Colley, on your side, do we have a figure how much the trip cost, or are both of you agreeable how much is owed at least, or not?
Yeah, I have the receipt right here of how much I paid for the whole thing.
Well, why don't you give me the figure and see if that's, at least that part's an agreement. It may not be, but what part, how much is it?
For both of us, for the whole trip was $3,506.18.
3,506?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, how much cents? We might as well get it all right.
18.
18 cents. Okay. At least it's an even number I can split. Okay. So, and Ms. Colley, does that sound about right for the trip itself?
Yes, it does.
Okay. In for my sake, if I split that in half, is that the amount that both of you do both of you agree that that's what's owed by one or the other?
Yeah.
Sound about right, Ms.
Yes.
Colley? Does that sound right? Okay.
Correct.
So see, you guys are pretty civil up to this point. It's just a matter of getting things. Ms. Colley, and to your credit, you've said all along, listen, I want to pay, I want to pay. Yeah, I understand. It sounds like you're in school right now.
I'm in school. I have like 51 days until I graduate. But I also was diagnosed with cancer.
And I saw something. Yeah, I didn't want to go in it, but I did see something like that.
So I'm still recovering from a double mastectomy.
Okay.
Which I did have an externship that I was working 1 day a week, which I then lost as well.
Boy, I'm sorry.
And Megan knew all about all of this. I'm sorry.
Boy, you kind of cut out.
Okay.
You cut out right when you got to. You had some health issues, and then it cut out.
Yep. So I had just gotten an
Yeah.
externship. I was working 1 day a week just for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks at Hurley. I ended up losing that externship due to my cancer diagnosis. Um, and anyways, I'm still recovering from my double mastectomy that I had on July 23rd.
Okay.
I have no way to get a job right now. I do plan obviously to become an RN in 51 days, so I have things lined up for then.
Okay.
My plan was never to not pay her, but she knew from day one that I had no plans or intentions of paying her until I got a job. And if you look through the
That
messages,
was
there's
never
no
the agreement.
verbatim. Can you not speak when I'm talking? Thank you.
Okay, guys.
But in the messages verbatim, it stated that I do not know when I can pay you. Even from the very first message I sent her about paying, I don't know when I can pay you. Are you sure you want to do this? And she confirmed. So I don't know what she wants. She came at me even after my cancer diagnosis because I chose not to continue a relationship with her because she is a drunk and she's very immature for her age. So therefore she got pissed off and then decided to come after myself and my family for the money immediately, even though I had already told her, regardless of everything, I will pay you when I get a job, but I have no way to pay you right now.
Okay. All right. So let's get, it's all kind of, quite frankly, for both your sakes, it's consistent with the back and forth on the text messages that there's money owed and you have a hard time, can't pay, and you had health issues. What, and you're getting ready to graduate. I'm just curious, where are you in school at?
Delta College in
Yeah,
Pacific.
Delta. Okay. Is it an RN program or is it
Yeah.
pre-nursing or because I get that all the time
It's
too.
an RN program. Yep, I
Okay,
graduated with
so-
my RN on December 11th.
Okay. And then you got to take the NCLEX, right? Yeah. So that's coming up. But
Right.
you'll honestly, with that career path, you're going to be able to find work pretty
Right.
easily.
And I
So
have some interviews lined up. I don't plan on not being out of work, for long. My goal is obviously to get a job immediately, but this
okay.
is just where I'm at currently.
Okay. So both your sakes, honestly, everything I see is the money's owed, whether you want to pay Miss Colley. And it sounds like there's some, at one point you just said you didn't want to pay it all, but quite frankly, you're
Sure.
stuck
I
with
mean, personally, I
money.
don't just
Yeah.
because of the way she behaved, but I'm true to my word and I plan on paying her the second that I have the money, but
Yeah.
I don't have it. I don't have an income right now. So she's just going to have to wait. I don't know what you want me to do.
Ms. Ferris, given that, it's real easy for me just to give a judgment, say, okay, you're on your own. And quite frankly, on small claims, the standard is, to be paid in 30 days, or you can, try to collect however you want on that judgment that's legal. So that's kind of where we're at with it.
I don't think that I'm gonna get the money unless.
Well, and that's what and quite frankly, for both your sakes, even when I was in private practice, all I did was personal injury stuff. So it was a little bit different. I had money that was likely going to come out of it. But when you're trying to collect on judgments, I go through this every Tuesday, quite frankly, and the attorneys know too. Sometimes you get a judgment that you're just not ever going to, it's going to be hard to collect on, even though you got a judgment that says, hey, listen, you owe this money. And it sounds like Miss Colley's kind of in that spot right now. She's, and I think she's being upfront with everything. It sounds like she's been upfront with the text messages and everything. So I guess I'm asking both of you, it'd be better for the two of you to work out some kind of agreement with either payment plan or a pay by date or something like that, rather than me making a decision, because I can make a decision on a bunch of different ways, at some point here. But probably both of you are not going to like it. And quite frankly, I'm not the one that's out. I don't know, how long were you two, I guess, in a relationship or not really, or just kind of seeing each other kind of thing? Is that what
We
was
were in a
going on?
We were
relationship.
just seeing each
For
other.
long? So you kind of at least know each other a little bit. So you
Mhm.
kind of know both of you know the circumstances. If you can both just keep your emotions out of it a little bit and work out some kind of a reasonable way to settle this, I think you're better off, honestly. Because I can give you a judgment, Ms. Ferris, right now, and it's going to be as good as that paper's on right now. If she doesn't have any money, you could file to have me, to try to seize property, and I don't think you want to do that to somebody. Or you can garnish wages. Well, she doesn't have any wages to garnish right now, it sounds like. I don't know. But you two of you know better than me. And if you can be upfront with each other, I think it'd be better if you just kind of sit and work out some kind of a deal. And I don't mind kind of helping out with that either. Does that kind of make sense for both of you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I would rather have you two kind of feel the pain a little bit more than me just making a decision, because nobody's going to be, and I don't know that I can practically come up with a solution for you other than me saying this is what it is, and good luck to both of you.
If
Okay.
we could come up with a payment plan or something, that'd be cool, but I just,
Why don't we try at least? And if you can't, I can kind of give you some input, I guess. Okay. I would tell you, here's what the input I would give you right now. If I'm looking at these things, generally I try to use, given the amounts and what's owed, I try to use from the date of a judgment that it's the reasonable part is to have it paid within a year. That's a starting point, depending on incomes levels, if there is an income or not income. That puts it into a time period that usually is a pretty reasonable period to try to work out a structure. Okay.
right,
Now, sometimes some people have the money, and it's like, I can basically say, no, you owe it now, and that's the way it is. But it just sounds like that's not the case here. So what I would, without forcing you both to do one thing or another, what I would do is say, okay, this money's owed. If I split it up in payments for a year, whatever that figure is, that's a reasonable way for me to handle it. Given Miss Colley's position, she's going to be working, I'm going to guess, fairly soon. When does the NCLEX come up for you? Is
It
it
usually takes 6 weeks after graduation for me to be able to take it. So
okay? Yeah, I can't see my quite frankly, my wife is a nurse educator, so and I've got two kids that are nurses too, so I kind of know the routine with all
Right.
the give her time frames. So if you're gonna, are your grades pretty good?
Yes.
You're going to probably get through NCLEX pretty easily. And I don't say easily, but
I mean, I have faith that I'll pass it
yeah,
the first try.
yeah. So that's going to put it 6. Here's my suggestion: if two of you can kind of talk between the two of you and say, "Listen, she's going to be graduating. Give her a little bit of time to graduate. Give her a grace period in that, and then say, listen, payment has to start whatever." After graduation, after NCLEX, or something like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? For both your sakes,
Mhm.
we can put something down in writing. If that kind of gives you some direction,
Mhm.
does that kind of help a little bit?
Yeah, I would like something in writing or something saying.
Yeah, no, I can,
You know.
we can do it we can do it one of two ways, and I usually don't do this. We can do it in a judgment. If you both need a judgment, just say, listen, I want out of this. This is what I want. Get it, give me a judgment. This is what I want. We'll do that. If the two of you are sincere enough to kind of get its schedule worked out outside of here, I just don't know how well you two are getting along enough to, you start moving on, somebody's going to say no. So we probably need a judgment, I guess.
I would prefer a judgment, to be honest.
Okay. All right. So why don't, if the two of you are willing to talk, let's kind of put both of you back in a room in a private
Not
room.
willing to talk to her. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
I'm not willing to.
Well, do
talk
you
her.
want to do it right out and open? We're on, we're streaming right now too. So I
Yeah,
don't mind doing it. Okay. So let's kind of, if two of you want to do it right now, I'm showing 1,753 and 9 cents owed. That's splitting that in half. Plaintiff always has right to their court costs unless there's some other unusual reason, but there's $70 filing fee plus, it looks like a fifth, gosh, I don't know if that's it says 51, but I don't know that's 51.
Yeah, that's what my receipt's for the server.
For 51? Okay.
Yeah, I have the receipt right here.
I mean, that makes sense, but it just, the way it was written couldn't tell. So we got $121 in court costs. So we got $1,874.09 would be the total owed And as far as timeframes, if you two of you want me just to kind of work through it, I'll work through it with you a little bit. What, Ms. Ferris, let's kind of start out with you. Does what, I saw your head nod, and it seems like you're trying to be reasonable too. Does that kind of make sense to give her a little bit of time for grace period?
It does. I just, like I said, I don't think I'm gonna get it if you don't tell me that she has to give it to me. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Okay, and I understand for both your sakes. What, Ms. Colley, then let's just kind of look at your schedule. When do you graduate? When's
December 11th.
so it'd be about the 11th? Okay. So we got December 11th for graduation. And then NCLEX comes up. I can't remember how that works with you guys though. Is it every 6? How do they do that? Is it come
It's
up on?
usually it's usually 4 to 6 weeks before the school like releases our degree, I guess, to the state. So it allows the NCLEX to open up. So it can be anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. It just depends on how fast the school process.
Okay, whoops, she's kind of cut out there a little
And
bit.
it's usually about 6 weeks.
Okay, so if we say from December, 6 weeks would get you, let's see, be January, February, about the middle of February
hmm
when the NCLEX comes up, and then I think it comes out. It seems to me it comes out once you take it. It comes out fairly quick. It seems to me. Does that sound right? Do you know?
Yeah, usually within 48 hours after.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's pretty darn quick. So if we say,
Yeah.
I mean, and Miss Ferris, I'm not trying to hedge one way or the other with her, but if we use a kind of a reasonable time frame, March, if I say March 1st for a payment, is that reasonable for you? If we say March 1st?
Yep.
Okay. Is it, Miss Colley, can you think you could do that March 1st? That gets you through that time period at least.
I mean, that would be until I can start working. So I would take a bit of time after that to get money.
Okay, well,
So
you tell me beyond that, I don't know how you're making ends meet. You said you got a child or a couple of children, is that what?
I have 3 children.
Oh,
Mhm.
3, okay.
Yes, I do.
But are you getting some kind of
So I'm
support?
currently going through a separation with my then fiance.
Okay.
So right now I'm still living under his roof for the time being. And he pays for everything at this time, but everything is being separated. So I'm going through that right now as well.
Okay, so is that formally through the courts or is it just you guys trying to work it out?
Yeah, we haven't went through the courts yet.
Okay. Will you tell me what I'd rather give you something we can work with.
Right. I mean, I think May would be ideal.
Okay, Ms. Ferris, and you've been pretty good up to this point. Can she do May?
As long as I get it. I mean, I can be,
Yeah,
I can work with her.
okay. Can we say May 1st?
Sure.
Okay, so let's say May 1st then. Let's see what I got here.
Now, is that for the full payment or just like a partial payment?
Well, that's what gonna be my next question for
Okay.
both of you. So if
It would
she's
be a
just
partial
starting
payment.
work, I'm sorry, what?
It would be a partial payment because I'm starting a brand new job and I have 3 children. So I'm not going to be just able to give her all of it at one time.
Okay, so how much, and I know you're not working all right now, but you should be, quite frankly, if you got kids, you should be getting some kind of child support. I'm not saying that that's enough,
Mhm.
but that should be a part of consideration as far as what you can and can't do. Okay,
Sure.
so give me, if we've got that $1,874 owed, we'll just say 2,000, just round it to 2 so we got something to work with.
Mhm.
It's an easier number just to do without a calculator. So we get 2,000. How much do you think you make monthly on a payment? What do you think you'll be able to do?
Like 150.
150?
Mm-hmm.
And that gets you, quite frankly, that's not a unreasonable thing, Miss Ferris. Let's see, 18. Boy, that's pretty darn close to what I had suggested right at the beginning. Like if they could you almost to a yearly, a year that you'd be done making payments. if you stick with it. And Miss Ferris is gonna say, you know what? If you're not sticking with it, that's gonna be an issue for her, you
Mhm.
know, so. We could, if you think that makes sense for both of you, we can put in right 150.
Mhm.
I'll order installment payments 150 starting that May 1st. And then we'll just leave it at that. And then Miss Ferris, for your sake, I can't really, I'm kind of stretching for both of you, I guess. With the installment, if they're not being paid, you can always file a motion with the court and saying, listen, payments aren't being made. I want to,
Okay.
whatever, garnish wages or something. Okay.
Mhm.
That gives you something to hang your head on because she
Right.
doesn't have the judgment. So,
Yeah, that makes me feel a lot better.
okay. And then if the two of you work something else outside of this, that's perfectly fine too. But at least you both have something in writing. Whatever we have here, though, is what I got to go by, unless
Mhm.
there's something else
Right.
here. Okay.
Mhm.
Does that make sense for both of you?
Works
And
for me.
as far as like making the payments, do we have to do that in person, or is there gonna be a system set up for that? or-
Well, it's up to the two of you. The easiest, quite frankly, the easiest way is if you make payments, do it with either something that you've got some proof that you paid it, like either a check, it comes out of your check that you can show that, listen, this is made out to this, person, or a money order, either way. Okay.
Mhm.
For both your sakes, and it's a little bit more informal to do it that way. If it comes through the court, there's going to be a delay, the time we
Right.
get it, and then we're keeping it just honestly, it makes more sense for you to just keep track of it for both your sakes on your own. Okay.
Okay, yep.
Okay. So I just make sure my figures are 1874. 9. Installment payments $150 starting May 1st of this next year, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Very good with it? Okay. May 1st. So I'll put it down and I'll sign oh yeah, let's do it this way too for both your sakes, and probably it really doesn't matter, but we do it by consent. It just makes, I'll remember what we kind of did, Does that make sense? Can we do it by consent for both of you? I'll
Mhm.
sign it and, let's see, where's my page? And Billy Joe, it looks like it's one word, Billy Joe, is that right?
Yep. Mhm.
And then Megan Ferris, that's a little easier one. Megan Ferris. And if both of you just give me permission to sign your names, I'll just note it was on Zoom for both of you. Is that
Yes,
okay with you, Miss
permission.
Colley? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Zoom. Okay, and I'll send out a copy of it to both of you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Both of you are honestly, it's not like both of you are good people. I just got to work through these things. Sometimes things don't work out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Good
Bye.
luck to both of you. Bye now. Bye.